Good day everyone and welcome back to Poser's Full Movie Recaps. Today's movie is a thriller film about a mother and her daughter who just move into their new home, but got invaded by several burglars with no way out. How can they survive the invaders without access to a phone or any weapon, while stuck in the room that the intruders are targeting? It all begins with a recently divorced woman named Meg and her daughter Sarah, getting a tour of a townhouse on the Upper West Side of New York. They are looking for a new home, so they can have a fresh start from their previous life. It is a 4-story brownstone previously owned by a reclusive millionaire, who has installed a fortified room inside the master's bedroom. Initially, Meg thinks that the vault-like panic room is dangerous, but the realtor explains its features and safety in case of emergency. Meg and Sarah like the house and they decide to choose it among the houses they visit. The two move in the next day, and start to unbox several huge boxes, especially those things that they immediately need to use. On their first night, the two talk about their new life and toast for starting anew, with Meg drinking wine, while Sarah has some soda. When Sarah goes to sleep, Meg continues to arrange some of their things and charge her phone from the outlet under the bed. She starts crying while taking a bath, contemplating all the recent events that happened in the past. She eventually tries to go to sleep, but can't able to find a peaceful slumber on the first night in their new house. Meanwhile, there is a man creeping inside the house who sees Sarah sleeping. He goes downstairs to open the front door, and another two men come inside. They argue about the house being occupied because it was supposed to be empty. Junior, the previous owner's grandson, tells them that they should just proceed with the plan. Burnham, an employee of the home security company, disagrees and tells them they should just come back. Raul, a thug that Junior has recruited, agrees with Junior to go on with the plan, because the people inside are just a woman and a kid. He even shows he has a weapon when Burnham insists that they should leave. While they are arguing, Meg wakes up and goes to the bathroom to take some pills. When she goes back to her room, she gets distracted by the lights coming from the panic room and goes back to switch the lights off. But she notices the monitor feeds from the security camera and sees some men inside the house. At first, she thinks it was pre-recorded, but when one of the men accidentally kicks a ball, she hears the noise and realizes that the feeds are current. Meg rushes to her daughter Sarah to wake her up. They try to escape the men through the elevator, as there are 3 of them and they have minimal chance to get out of the house without getting snatched. Sarah remembers the panic room and suggests that they should hide inside it for the time being. Meg agrees and the two run to the room, while the 3 thugs chase them. They almost get caught, but Sarah is able to press the lock before Junior can catch up to them. With the panic room locked, the invaders cut the phone line so Meg and Sarah can't be able to call anyone for help. The 3 thugs start to quarrel again, while Meg tries to talk to them through the speaker. She tells them that the police are on their way and they should just leave the house. The burglars don't believe her because Burnham knows the layout of the room from his job, and he knows that there is no phone connection inside the panic room, as he was one of the contractors who built it. Since the speaker is a PA system and not an intercom, they start writing on paper so Meg can see that what they need is inside the safe room. The 3 starts to plan their next move, so they can be able to get inside the room. Burnham tells them that they cannot get inside, because the room was built impenetrable from any outside force. Junior insists they should still try, because this is their only chance to get what they want from that room. Burnham took out their tools and starts drilling on the lock of the room, but fails to open it. Meanwhile, Meg and Sarah try to stay calm, but starts panicking when they see the men locking the house from inside, and hear them using a sledgehammer. They try to scream for help in the hope that someone else can hear them, but since the room is designed to be soundproof, no one even notices their scream. When Burnham sees the propane gas in the kitchen, he gets an idea to scare the mother and kid. He starts connecting the propane gas to the air vent that is connected inside the safe room, while his 2 companions impatiently wait for him to finish. Meg and Sarah nervously wait for what will happen next as they look at the security camera. She constantly checks Sarah's timer for her medication, because Sarah is diabetic and needs regular glucagon shots. When Burnham is finally able to attach the propane gas to the vent, he releases some gas inside. He let out just a small amount of gas, as his only intention is to scare them off so they would come out of the room. While waiting for them, Raul gets impatient and pumped a lot of gas into the vent. Meg and Sarah nearly suffocate, but they are able to find a small hole to breathe. Meg tries covering the vent, but the air is too strong and it's not working. She then rummages through the things inside the room, and is able to find a fire blanket and a lighter. She asks Sarah to hide under the blanket and tries to create a light. Once the lighter ignites, she rushes inside a fireproof blanket to avoid getting burned. With what she did, the propane gas connected to the vent blows up too, resulting in Junior getting hurt. Sarah finds a flashlight and tries to use it to send some SOS signal across the street, but since it was the middle of the night, The man sleeping across just closes his curtains and goes back to his bed. When Meg looks at the feeds, she sees that the bedroom is empty. She then remembers her phone charging under the bed, and tells Sarah of her plan to retrieve it. Sarah monitors the feed, while Meg quickly opens the door and rushes to where she put her phone. Unfortunately, the phone falls further under the bed when all the previous commotion happened, so she tries to reach for it as silently as she can. Burnham and the other two hear the noise from the bedroom and quickly go back upstairs. When Meg sees them approaching, she rushes back inside the panic room with her phone. The problem is, even though she's able to get her cell phone, there is no reception inside the room. She tries everything to find a signal, and is unable to get even a single bar. While looking for a cell phone signal in the vent, she saw the phone cable and tried to reach it. Eventually, she is able to pull it out, so she quickly connects it to the phone line inside the safe room. Burnham notices the cord being pulled, and rushes to the main cable line to prevent Meg from contacting anyone for help. Meg quickly dials 911 once the phones start working, and immediately gives her address to the operator. But it seems that the circumstances are not in her favor, because the operator that answers is taking too long and even asks her to hold. She then dials her ex-husband's number, but can only convey very little information before the call has finally been cut by Burnham. The three invaders nervously start arguing again, as they worry about the repercussions of Meg's phone call. Junior tries to encourage them to work harder on opening the room by promising to pay them more once the job is done, as he omits the truth of the real amount of money that they are about to steal. But as Junior continues ranting, he accidentally slips that there is more money inside the vault, so the two blame him for the mess and accuse him of tricking them. Junior tries to leave to save face, but Burnham told him that when he opens the safe in the room, he will just split the money between him and Raoul if Junior leaves. Junior doesn't care anymore and opens the front door. Raoul gets impatient and just shot Junior to prevent him from leaving. While Burnham is shocked by Raoul's action, a man suddenly shows up at the door and Raoul punches him. He also threatens Burnham while pointing a weapon at him, and commands the man to help him with their sudden guest. Burnham takes the man's wallet and learns that he is Meg's ex-husband Stephen. They interrogate him and ask if he calls the police, to which Stephen answers no. Burnham, realizing how dangerous Raoul is, decides to tell the man that Stephen is telling the truth, but the thug is skeptical and starts threatening both Stephen and Burnham. He demands that Burnham works harder to get them inside the safe room, or else he will end up like Junior. Burnham then decides to show Stephen to the camera as Raoul beats him, so Meg might try to stop them, and opens the door. Meg didn't budge even as she watched her ex-husband getting pounded. Instead, she just screams her frustrations. Suddenly, Sarah's timer beeps indicating that she needs her glucagon shot. When she starts to have seizures, Meg takes her chance to leave the room when she sees that the thugs are not in the bedroom anymore. She rushes to Sarah's bedroom to get her glucagon syringe from the fridge, but when she is about to get back, Raoul and Burnham are already inside the bedroom. She realizes that they are just pretending to be out of the bedroom to lure her out, but since she needs to get Sarah's medicine to her, she takes her chance and tries to go back to her sick daughter. Unfortunately, Burnham is already inside the safe room while Raoul keeps a lookout at the door. She manages to throw the med kit inside the safe room just as Burnham closes the door, but it causes him to inadvertently crush Raoul's hand in the process. Through the speaker, Meg tells them that Sarah is very sick and needs an injection. Burnham answers that he cannot open the door because she has a weapon, which is the gun that Raoul possessed earlier. She said that he can just give the injection himself so Sarah can be saved, so he asks her to run downstairs in return, to be able to free Raoul's crushed hand from the door. Meg did as he says and goes downstairs, and Burnham, true to his word, finally injects Sarah with her medication. After informing Meg about it, the man starts working on the vault inside the safe room, while Raoul keeps on moaning about hurting Meg for crushing his hand. Meanwhile, Meg plans an escape and starts to move Stephen into a position to hold a weapon. Suddenly, a couple of cops show up outside and start ringing the doorbell. Since Sarah is still in danger with the thugs, Meg makes up some excuses to the police saying that she just misses her ex-husband, because he was the one who alerts the authorities with her strange call. The police insist and ask her to just give them some sign or signal if she can't really talk at the moment, so they will be aware if she and her daughter are in danger. After a while, the police leave and Meg goes back inside. She starts breaking all the security cameras and lights inside the house, and locks some rooms so there can be only one way out for the thugs. Inside the panic room, Sarah starts to recover and hide some of the syringes as a weapon, and Burnham is able to finally open the secret vault and find $22 million worth of bearer bonds. The intruders prepare to leave and Burnham assures Sarah that she will be okay, even though they took her with them to use as leverage. Downstairs, Steven suddenly opens a light while pointing a weapon at the thugs, so Burnham negotiates that they are done, so let them just leave. Raoul then threatens to hurt Sarah, so she stabs him with her hidden syringes. With all the commotion, Burnham runs outside to escape. Still holding a grudge against Meg, Raoul starts beating up the family and is about to kill the woman. But since Burnham really doesn't want the defenseless family to be hurt, he goes back inside and shoots Raoul. Afterward, Burnham leaves, but the police finally arrive after being alerted by Meg's behavior earlier. The police try to apprehend Burnham at the fence, who is forced to drop the bearer bonds to surrender, and they scatter in the wind. The film ends by showing Meg and Sarah searching the newspaper for a new home again. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to help the channel out. You can also hit the notification bell for more upcoming full movie recaps. Thank you.